Hey golfers, and welcome back to the Second Swing YouTube channel for another edition of Live at Lunch. We are back in the store here at Second Swing at Minnetonka talking about the various technologies that we use here, specifically for putter fittings in the store. And we've got Larry Bobka and Tyler Fitzel back with us as well to talk, once again, more putter fittings and some of the technology. And well, first of all, guys, good to see you. Thanks for managing things the last couple weeks. I was not here.
Well, it was a good reason you weren't here because you have a son now.
I do, yeah.
So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
All donations for diapers can be sent to the consent of Drew at Second Swing.
I mean, hey, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I know you will.
Surprising how fast the diapers, get used.
Yes, they are. But you look a little tired.
I am.
We're not getting a lot of sleep.
Yeah,
cool.
I am tired,
cool.
But we're here, and we have a really good topic today because I think, especially with the integration of PuttView in all the stores, people come in and they immediately see these lines on the greens, and they're like, "What's going on here?" So we're going to cover that, but as we kind of get going here and people start jumping in, I wanted to ask you about Quintic. And Larry,
sure.
I know you're a big Quintic guy. If
Yep.
you've seen any of our content or any of our podcast interviews with Larry, a lot of discussion about Quintic, and that is more or less, it's kind of like TrackMan for putting. I think
Absolutely.
It's kind of the way that you describe it. So
yeah.
just to my left over here is our putter fitting studio. Yep. We got Quintic lined up in there. Can you explain to the viewers what Quintic is and I guess what people can learn from
Well,
it?
just to give you a little history. So 10 years ago when I was down in Florida, I was working with our golf, the putter company, but also building my own putting lab, and I was looking for technology. There's different technology as far as you can use. But to me, this is the best because it is kind of like the TrackMan for putting. I mean, what do you need to know? I need to know my launch angle. I need to know my overspin rates, and I need to know my side spin rates. And if you look at Quintic, and people, I had a putter fitting this morning, and the guy came in, and all his numbers are red. And I like to tell people Quintic's kind of like a stoplight. Red numbers are not good. The yellow numbers we need to look at. The green numbers were go. Well, he went from all red to all green. And he looked at it, and the ball's rolling better, and he's like, wow, I never felt the ball come off the putter like that. It's the reason we use it, and that's why, I kind of, I sort of demanded that when I came here that we have that, because how am I going to help you or anybody else get better without numbers, okay? Right. That's why we use Quintic. That's why we use the Ping app. That's why we got PuttView, because it's feedback. You need feedback. It's just like getting fit for a 7-iron or a driver in a bay with TrackMan. You get feedback. You can see if your driver's bad, you can see the numbers are bad. If you get get fit for a driver and the numbers are good, then you see it. So it really is to me it's the best feedback there is, and it's really cool because I have friends who teach tour players. And every once in a while I get numbers, and I'll relate tour player numbers to people that come in here.
Right. Yeah. That's the really cool part is I think you hear numbers and data, you think of TrackMan just on the full swings. Whether it's drivers, irons, that seems to be garnering more attention for golfers.
Right.
But I know your favorite thing to say is that 40% of your shots are used with a putter, and so I think people maybe. If they don't know what a putter fitting entails here, they don't realize you get a ton of data as well. I know, Tyler, that's what are the kind of key data points that you get from Quintic that you're focusing on when you work with golfers in the putter studio?
So there's 4 things that happen to a golf ball when struck by any of the clubs. There's the ball speed, there's a launch angle, a spin rate, and a direction. And those 4 things we look more intently with TrackMan in terms of the golf ball with more higher speeds. Right, and that's one of the things that TrackMan is well known for, is it's a high-speed object radar. The Quintic is very similar in that line, is we would like to see the right type of speed, because as Larry would tell you, the 3 most important things in any putt is speed, speed, and speed.
Yeah.
But the idea of the speed with the launch angle is critical, and then having the right type of spin. We're not talking about everything that has to be overspin, but we certainly want overspin on a putt. We'd never necessarily want to see it, or could we see that in a higher speed shot with a different club? We also want it to be online, And so we have tracking the golf ball is critical. My first fitting of the day says, you know, I told the guys I'm going in for a fitting. Tyler's going to look. He says I'm going to hit some shots. Tyler's going to look at the numbers and tell me what I need. And in a large regard, that's kind of what Quintic does.
Yeah.
It's like we have people hit some of those putts and start looking as like, all right, this is launching a little too high. Now as fitters, we have to look at this and say, now why? Is that the putter? Is that the putting stroke? Is it you know, is it something about the technology or the technique? And that really is the call it the MRI machine. We like to talk about TrackMan as this MRI machine, is getting a good insight to it. And the same thing happens with Quintic.
Yeah, that's kind of a good way to look at it. And again, it's one of those things that with Quintic, I've been in there and I've gone through a fitting with you. Actually, you can see it on the YouTube channel. Earlier this year, when I put the Jailbird in play, we went in there and we saw a lot of green numbers.
Yeah.
What is, in your experience in using Quintic, Larry, with golfers, what is maybe the one, call it fault, or something that you look at fixing the most with golfers that maybe is a common thing that they're doing wrong, or that the putting stroke is just not quite
their
perfect?
launch angle's bad. And their launch angle's bad. And why is their launch angle bad? Well, most of the time, most people come in and, you know, on a rare occasion, you have somebody that has not enough loft for their putting stroke. Most of the time, it's too much loft for their putting stroke. So that's going to change, because if I take that number, say I'm launching it at 4 degrees. We want to see a launch angle between 1 and 2. If I get that launch angle down, the overspin rates go up and the side spin rates go down. So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of a marriage of those three numbers, but it really is all around that launch angle.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the same thing with a driver. I mean, I could have great, you know, I could have decent spin numbers with a driver, but if it's launching too high, it's not going to go anywhere, right?
Right.
Okay, with a putter, but see, with a driver, you can see that. I can't see that I can't see that on the ground, you know. And I've said this before, you know, we're trying to do a perfect thing on an imperfect surface, right? We're putting on grass. We got ball marks, spike marks, foot impressions, you name it. The only way that I've had a chance of hitting at the right speed, because speed is everything, is to get it on top of that grass and get it turning over as much as I can with as little side spin as I can. Now I get a chance to make every putt. You know, I played golf with my wife on Sunday, and she only plays when I force her to play golf. So we played 9 holes, but she's rolling the golf ball and she's making some putts just because she's standing up there and has no expectations, and she knows that all she needs to do is hit at the right speed.
Right.
And absolutely roll the ball great on greens that she's never played on before. Just because the speed's good, you know. 9 holes, she didn't 3-putt a green. Hadn't played in 3 months, hadn't practiced in 3 months. Maybe it's never practiced ever, quite frankly.
And I think to add to that too, when we talk about this with any of the other clubs, 2 large influences for what a golf ball does after impact is the face angle direction and the loft of the club. That's really why we talk about loft so much, because it's the loft that really starts to set the stage for whether where it's moving and how much spin it has, and whether or not it's going to have more speed or less speed. Those are all things that kind of factor in. But loft is, I'd say, the number one issue.
Well, if you talk to Paul Hurrion, who developed Quintic, 92% of your ability to make that putt is how squarely you've hit that golf ball. Okay, that's why we talk so much about trying to get those Quintic numbers into, because now I've given a customer an opportunity to make putts.
Yeah.
Now they got to go practice a little bit. They got to go work on speed. But at the end of the day, they walk out with a chance to make more putts than they did when they walked in the door, and they have a better understanding that, hey, maybe a mallet versus a blade versus a mid-mallet, what that does with their putting stroke. You know, if they have a little tendency to kind of throw the head a little bit, you really don't want a back-weighted putter. You know, so it gives us so much. It gives us so much more information. You know, hey, if you have 2 degrees of loft on your putter and you're launching it at 4, we know you're throwing the face.
Right.
So we can have that discussion about you throwing the face. So, there's so many things that, and it is like an MRI, because you just take a look at it and go, okay, well, we need to go here, 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 and here.
Right.
And it becomes, honestly, it becomes a very simple process.
Yeah, you can learn really right away what specifically is the reason why you might be missing putts. It could be your strike location and how the ball is reacting with spin. If there's, maybe there's spin, or I guess hook spin or cut spin. We can see all of that on the Quintic, which is really cool.
I'll give you a very quick story. When I had my studio in Florida, I ran into Nick Price, who I've known forever, at lunch, and he's like, "Hey, I need to come see you." So he brings in a bunch of putters. Here's a major champion. One-time #1 player in the world. He's hitting some putts, and he's got all this kind of side spin on. I go, Pricey, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm working on this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And he had the putter that he won all the tournaments with, the old Bobby Grace Fat Lady Swings Mallet. I said, what'd you do with that? He goes, I was putting so bad at the time. He goes, I just kind of picked it up and just dropped it on the back of the ball. I said, well, show me that stroke. His Quintic numbers are perfect. And he's like, oh my God, I've wasted 25 years trying to putt better, and I had but he didn't have any information.
Right.
That's where the information, this information world can help us so much, because you don't understand why something worked, and then all of a sudden it goes away for a little bit, and you make this major change, and you hurt yourself. You just lose time with your golf game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that Quintic is super valuable, and golfers watching this, obviously you can schedule a fitting with Second Swing, and we have Quintic available in the tour van. Larry, Tyler, any of our fitters can dial you in. Again, ton of information to be had there about your putting stroke, and it's going to help you play better. I know it's helped me this year. I got that Arcos, stat tracking, and my putting strokes gained have improved this year. So making sure that's dialed in is huge. Now, again, for anybody watching as well, we welcome any comments, questions, whether it's about the technology or just putting in general, putters, different types of putters, etc. We wanted to talk about PuttView today too. If you're watching, you can see kind of the lines on the green here. We've got, it's kind of been a relatively recent addition to our stores.
Yep.
I guess, Tyler, I know you've been working with customers in here before. You've seen it hundreds of times in here. What do you like the most about it? Because for one, I think it's just really cool. Golfers can come in, and then when they want to try out some putters, they have, we have undulated greens, and they can see the break. They can watch their ball roll in, and sometimes it'll tell you nice putt when you make one. Right. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, just real quick. One of the things that when people come in, I can't get the ball started on my line.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Here's the line.
There it
right
is.
there.
Yeah.
Tyler, it's all yours. There it is. I can show you. I can help you start it on your line.
Going back many years, looking at kind of the putting greens that we've had, and I'd say if you go to a lot of other stores and a lot of other putting greens, for that matter, is kind of, you try to develop some slopes, and for us, we've kind of had a flat green, and we've tried to develop having something a little different with some of the contours now. And what this allows us to do is actually, you can start to see those things, where like if you were really outside and you could see how the outside putt might break, because we're not outside right now.
Right.
And I think the sunlight and the idea of where you are and reflections, and that really plays into what you see. Well, we can even talk now from a putter's perspective of like, okay, this breaks over here, and where you're lining up. They actually make an outdoor version of this where they have putting goggles, and the goggles are, well, they're super expensive to start with.
Yes.
But essentially they wrap around, and as they wrap around your face, the same sort of technology that they map out, you can map out the visual space in front of you. And so it's like carrying it's a virtual reality set of goggles. Yeah. You can go outside and you can putt with it in any which direction and see the breaks and the slopes to it. What PuttView is essentially another great tool at is kind of engaging, it's for us anyway, engaging the customer into more than just at that hole.
Right.
Right. It's not just at that hole. We can see some of the slopes and what a straight line would be. Everyone putts a little different in that regard. I like to see a high point in the curve of something and try to putt it. I try to putt on all straight lines, linear lines. Other people tend to see different sorts of curves, and they're trying to putt on curves and things. It's gonna maybe it was you and I having this discussion, but there's two types of visualizing putts, and someone had told me this, and I went, that is totally me. And I think it's like you're either kind of a straight line putter, or you see certain amounts of curves, and you're trying to work on the curves.
Well, and the thing about PuttView is, okay, so we're in there, and maybe somebody's in between a couple putters. Okay, we've got good Quintic numbers on both those putters. Okay, bring them out here. Which one do you line up better?
Yeah.
Which one starts the ball better? You know, I can come out here now and have them hit some putts, and they can take a look and go, wow, I thought I wanted this putter, but I really don't, because I line the other putter up better. You know, so to me, it's really an opportunity to almost, you know, to not to convince somebody, but to nail that fitting down.
It gives them a more realistic expectation of what they might see on the course.
Well, when someone says, I'm really good at right to lefters, but not so good on left to righters.
Yeah.
And we come out and we have an opportunity to kind of hit a little bit of both.
Right.
Well, that can reassure them in that, way, this putter is actually doing both. Or this putter's pretty good it's absolutely great for this, but it's actually doing this better for me too.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a sight line that you can see from it.
You know, when you think about it, I mean, if somebody comes in for a putter fitting in the interview and you talk to them, I mean, what's their two complaints? My speed's bad and my line's bad. Okay, well, I just took care of your speed indoors with Quintic. Now I'm going to take care of your line with PuttView.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it's the confirmation that what we fit you in there is going to work out, you know, closer to a real world thing, right? You know, and so from my standpoint, it really becomes something that's really easy, or hey, walk out here with somebody with their putter and go, I can't line it up, and you take a look at it, and they're right, they can't line it up. They can't line it up. Or they line it up better than they think, you know, and they hit some putts and they miss the hole, and it's like, okay, let's go take a look at your Quintic numbers, and I'll show you show you why you're missing the hole.
Yeah, so there's kind of two ways to learn about your putting tendencies with these technologies. So you go in Quintic, you can see kind of the data. You know, hit a few putts in a pretty controlled environment. You see, you know, your launch angle, you see your spin rates, etc.
Yeah.
And then you can come out here and visually you get a lot more information, you know, about the alignment and, you know, maybe how, you know, undulation affects how you putt.
But, you know, I think
all those things.
A question for Larry too, in terms of the coaching and the work you've done with higher level players, is talk a little bit about the practice, because what happens in here with PuttView is very similar to what you'd need to do outside. Is you know, good players don't just hit straight lines. They have to. They want to see things. They want to practice curves. They want to practice where they're aiming at. They're lining things up.
Well, the practice I do with people as far as reading greens is almost like this putt you're seeing here with PuttView. Okay, so hey, I would have a player, if I was teaching Tyler, Tyler, line this up. Okay, but now I would make him go take a tee and put it next to the hole where he thinks the intended line is, to see if he can hit those lines.
Yeah.
He might find out that, you know, his putting stroke's really good, the putter's really good. He can't line up a putt to save.
He can't line up a putter, read putts.
He can't read putts.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is kind of a combination. PuttView's kind of this combination of, hey, I can help you read putts. Somebody can come in here and spend a couple minutes and going, man, I just didn't think it was going to break that much. You know, most people, and here's the world. Most amateurs underread putts. Most professionals overread putts. So think about that. So the professionals read more break and tend to miss it on the highs, That's why you talk about the
AM
pro
side,
side and the AM side,
Sure.
right? Well, that's because the average player doesn't read enough break. They forget that if I've got this breaking putt, and what PuttView shows is, hey, it's not the center of the hole anymore. If I've got a putt that breaks a lot, the center of the hole is really, if it's a right to left, it's up here on the side. It's not there.
Yeah, the center of the hole is a different
so
location.
I mean, to me, it's a great training aid that you come in here and hit a few putts or get fit for a putter, and after the putter fitting, spend a little time out here rolling the golf ball with your new putter, just to feel like, hey, I can do this, and then take it out to your golf course. I always have people tell them, hey, hit some nice straight 5-footers, but then hit some 10, 12-foot breaking putts and start getting the feel for how that new putter's going to roll.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So I have kind of a sort of an idea here. I'm going to act as customer.
Okay.
And I'm just going to hit a couple of these putts here.
Right.
And I want you guys to, based on what you see, if you see alignment or you see maybe this putter's not right for me, I want you to give some feedback.
Well, I've seen your stroke. It sucks. All right, come on. Come on. Go ahead. Let's see what we do.
All right, so we got 6-footer here.
Yeah.
Breaking right to left.
Yep.
Now the nice thing is I have exactly the read that I need here.
Yep.
Under pressure. What'd you see? I saw it go right in the center of the hole.
I saw the ball go in the center of the hole.
Try another one.
Okay. Pretty good right there. Tell me, well, don't hit it yet. Tell me when you're ready to hit it.
I'm ready to hit it.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Close your eyes and hit it.
Oh gosh, okay.
Oh gosh, there we go. Pretty good.
I felt quick.
Yeah.
Is that?
It was fast. It was a little.
The
sticky,
problem
but-
is most people, their brain and their hands don't work together. They become very visual putting.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you're a visual putter, what does that mean? That means I'm going to move my head too fast. And if I move my head too fast, I move my shoulder, move my arm. Not to go through anatomy class, but it's connected to the face of that putter.
Yeah.
So
I'd say that's the one thing.
Hitting some putts here with your eyes closed, or just listening for the ball go in the hole, makes all the sense in the world.
I would say the one most common fault, if we talk about it as a fault, for most people, they try to watch the ball a little too quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really gets things offline.
Well, when I was 6 years old, 58 years ago, folks, my instructor said, Larry, if you're in a hurry to watch it, there's going to be nothing to see. 58 years later, that sentence still rings true. Okay, if you're in a hurry to watch a golf shot, there's going to be nothing to see. Okay, and we prove it now with technology.
Right.
That if you move your head too fast, you're not going to see. I mean, I have people standing there all day in the Quintic, and it's like,
I pulled it.
I pulled. Well,
Right, so
of course you did.
Let me hit a putt here.
because what you become is you become a handle dragger.
Yeah.
And so instead of allowing the putter to release because you stay down, you pull that putter across.
And you're saying these people will, and
they'll take it.
They'll come up
out,
slightly
come out quick.
with their whole body, right?
Well, and what happens is, go ahead, set up again. So they actually fake. Put both hands on there.
Okay.
So they actually fake the release. The release comes inside this way because their head and their shoulder are
Sure.
up.
Okay.
Okay. They don't allow.
Kind of doing one of these.
They don't allow it to naturally happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you kind of do one of these, and then it comes out a little bit.
Come
dead.
up. Yeah, they kind of come up.
and
So I
it just
hit that heel, kind of heel side.
Well, it
low
tends to
on
be
the
more a
side.
toe strike.
Toe side.
Think about it, because now if I'm pulling it in, I'm going to hit it here.
Sure.
I tend to hit it low toe. So what happens? I lose overspin and I create side spin. What does that do?
And less ball speed.
Messes up your speed.
Yeah.
And again, what is it? Speed, and I won't put the adjective in there. Another speed. Okay, because that's all that matters, is your ability. If I can get you rolling a golf ball in there with all green numbers,
Right.
and I can get you out here in the real world, and you can control your. Every putt is makeable. Every putt. I don't care if it's 3 feet, 30 feet, 60 feet. If I can learn how to roll the ball the right speed, I have now given myself a chance to make every putt it is. And oh, by the way, when I don't hit a good iron shot, I playing with my wife, it kind of hit a little chunky wedge on one hole, and comes up about 40 feet short, and I rolled it up to about 6 inches away, and I tapped it in. She looks at me, she goes, "It's a really good putt." I go, "Yeah, but I teach putting for a living. Shouldn't I hit a putt like that?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're right, you should."
Yeah.
But that's a low stress hole, right? I hit a beautiful drive, I hit a crappy pitching wedge, but I walk away with an easy par because I roll the ball the right speed.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a way to play golf. It's fun, right? And then when I get it close, now I know I've got a chance to make everything.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. It's, I've said this, it's like playing cornhole. I got the beanbag in my hand, and I'm tossing it over there. All I'm trying to do is toss it the right distance. Mm-hmm. You don't think about your arm angle. You don't think about your hand. You don't think about overexcel. What do? You swing your arm. Well, swing the putter.
Yeah.
And if I can swing the putter with the right putter in your hand, how much better are you going to be?
Right. Yeah. No, that all makes.
You're going to be awesome.
Yeah. Exactly.
You take the 3 putts away.
Right.
So from your standpoint, from the putting stroke, you have a lot better putting stroke than I'd even like to admit that you do.
Perfect.
But you do. It's very rhythmic. It's very, you just don't have a lot of confidence in your putting stroke.
Correct.
Right? And your confidence isn't.
Yeah.
Your confidence lacks because your speed lacks. Mm-hmm. The better your speed gets, your confidence goes up. And if there's one club in the bag, the 2 clubs in the bag you need the most confidence with is that thing and those big old driver heads over there.
Right.
Okay? If I don't have confidence in those 2 clubs, where do you hear people getting, and I hate using this word, where do you hear people getting the yips? They get the yips with the putter and they get the yips with the driver. Because it's the 2 clubs that require the most confidence.
Yep.
It's also the 2 clubs that require you hit it the squarest.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So now, I've got these 2 clubs that I need to hit as square as I possibly can. One's a big old swing. This one, this is a little swing.
Yeah.
This is hard sometimes.
Something else that I think is really important about as we look at PuttView is the visualization is really key. We talk about this in kind of other parts of the game too, where you might say, you got to see the shot. You kind of want to see what the flight of the shot, or maybe the window that you're talking about.
Okay, set up to hit that. Keep going. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me have the putter. You come behind me and you tell me how that's aimed.
Is it not aimed correctly?
Well,
you tell me. What do you think?
I do not see it right. It looks like I have it lined up to go like farther off right
Yes.
of my line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So every once in a while.
You see that from over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So every once in a while.
Goodness.
But here's the thing though. Does that aiming right cause you an issue?
That's what I'm trying to find
I'm
out
here.
here.
Give you when we were at Ping a couple years ago, and I'm talking to the Ping guys, Tony Finau aims 3 degrees right. Lee Westwood aims 2 degrees left. Okay. Does it affect their? It can.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the hardest things to do in golf is trying to aim something like that. You're aiming a short putt here. Imagine trying to aim a 25-footer. It is, but you have to do it consistent. That's why I always talk about. You should be picking a spot. You should be thinking about, the only thing you should be thinking about, Drew, is rolling it right over that line 12 inches in front of the ball. So you roll it over that line 12 inches in front of the ball.
So now, does that look better?
That looks
alignment-wise?
better. Yeah, let's see what happens.
Now if I miss, it's going to be
That's my fault.
I pulled it.
Pulled it. Okay.
And speedy.
Yeah, I also smacked it to the other side of the green.
Yeah, you almost broke.
That's a really fast.
You almost broke his foot over. You almost broke the cameraman's foot because he hit it so hard.
Pulled it again.
Okay, but here's the thing. You're aiming it square, and now it goes left. So you're aiming a little right. Doesn't necessarily hurt you. So now you aim it a little bit right, and you hit this putt.
Oh, maybe that's.
Because everybody has natural tendencies.
Okay.
There is no perfect. Look at that.
So do I So I have a tendency to, I think, I'm
You
learning
you
that I
have a, you have
to
a
set up a little
tendency
open.
you have a tendency to start a little open, and then you jam the door shut. Okay, a little bit more than most people. Is that bad? No, it's you.
It is fascinating to see,
it
though.
It can become a problem if you start doing it too much, or you start leaving that face open. There you go. So that's just you. It's not a bad
Learn
thing.
a little bit.
Well, see, and that's where you got to come see somebody like Tyler and I.
Yeah,
You can't sit there and, no disrespect to anybody's golfing buddies anywhere, but you're lining up and we're sitting there and oh, Drew, you're aiming everything.
Oh, that's
putter's aiming to the
exactly
right
what I was
all
going
the
to say.
time.
Is you play in a group or a scramble
You're playing
or something?
in a group, somebody
Yep.
says something to you.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, especially if you're a good putter, is two things. It's like going to the shooting range. You better have the headphones on like Sean does, right? And nothing coming through, and you just go, hey, how you doing? That's all. Or somebody walks by to you, and I've always told this to tour players, Lucas, everybody I've ever taught. Somebody comes over and mentions something to you and says, oh, it looks this way or it looks that way. Well, first of all, if you're playing in a PGA Tour or a Champions Tour event, you putting well takes money out of their pocket. So are they really helping you, or are they not helping you?
Yeah.
Not to start anything, but are they really helping you?
Well, that happened.
So, but your buddies, and I, somebody comes in and says, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. My buddy told me to do this. He's a pretty good putter. Okay, and if they kind of are insistent, I said, well, who does he teach? Where does he fit?
Right.
That's the little Larry Bobka flex.
We do this every day.
Mm-hmm.
We've done this every day for a long time.
Yeah.
We see the things that people do right, the things that people do wrong. We have a very good understanding. Going to see your PGA Pro makes sense to get an understanding of what you're doing. Luke over at Interlochen, Brent Snyder sends us a lot of our people, okay, for putting, because we have the technology, and oh, by the way, they're not putting guys, okay? They're swing guys. They do a little bit on putting. They help a little bit. But as you see, we go into it much deeper. We have more technology than they have.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
They both come see me for their putting, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Tyler, get in there and putt a little bit.
Tyler,
I was going to say one thing about PuttView is super cool. I'm old enough, without having to tell you my age, that the video games really became popular, and some of the very first golf video games were like the Tiger Woods games. And so in the video game itself,
yes, I know what you're talking about.
We have this. They have these lines. You have these putts, and I literally would putt better by visualizing these types of things. Kind of where's its high point, where's its arc.
Right.
When in my mind, in my visualization, when I putt, I see these lines on the grass. I see these going to the hole. I'm picking out that spot. I'm seeing that whole thing. So when PuttView in general is one thing, but when the PGA Tour and the television broadcast started to bring in the lines and the visualizations, we could start seeing where speed, they have the kind of the ribbon where it's like, well, speed anywhere inside of this is really good. The idea with all of this is I'm like what you were talking a little earlier, is I'm picking a spot, and just in front of that spot, I'm just trying to roll that right on that spot.
Right, and that's the visual, because you can't line up.
Right.
I mean, remember, think about Jack Nicklaus used to do that with every club in his bag.
Here's a jack.
From a drive from a driver
Yeah.
from a driver to the putter was just pick a spot about a foot in front of the golf ball and try to hit it, try to putt it over that.
Right.
Because that's all you can really do. And if you can do that with, once again, the right speed, I have a chance to make every putt. Every putt has a chance to go in. And that's the thing that people don't understand. The problem is, okay, and I'm sure everybody's heard this video, but you go out and play the first hole on your golf course. It's a par 4. You aim down the middle of the fairway, you barely hit it in the fairway, but it's still a foot in the fairway, not a problem. You grab your 7-iron out, you aim at the flag. You pull it 20 feet left of the flag. Oh, well, I pulled my iron, but no big deal, I still have a birdie putt. Then that stupid thing shows up. then it becomes about results.
Yeah.
People forget about the process. What's the process? Line the putter up on your intended line, get your body in a comfortable position, and roll the right speed. And those 3 things came after about 3 bottles of wine at Brad Faxon's house one night, trying to nail it down. Because I was teaching Lucas and he was teaching Rory, and we really just tried to just kind of, not for lack of a better term, dumb it down.
Yeah.
What really is putting? What are the 3 things you really need to do? And that's it. But in that roll at the right speed, I better have the right putter.
Right.
Because if I don't have the right putter, and again, we've heard it before, it's like trying, I tell people, your putter's like trying to eat soup with a fork.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
So
work.
on that note, we have one more thing I wanted to show today.
Yeah.
Right.
And it is the Ping Putter app. And
Sure.
I know it's another quick tool I know that you guys use in the
Well,
store.
and Tyler will
identifying the
explain
stroke
it
type.
better, but it's a quick tool from a standpoint that, hey, if I don't have time for a putter fitting, and we always have somebody out here on the putting green, especially on the weekends, or now, it's not all that busy in here, you can grab somebody. If you got 5 minutes, you better at least know something about your putting stroke.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what the Ping app does. And they've done thousands and thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands of players to come up with this computer program, AI, whatever it is, to help you become a better putter in a matter of minutes. So,
Right.
Tyler, you explain it.
So there's a couple of different options with this. The first is we tend to use like what's guided fit. There is the loft and lie, which is really an interesting one too. So as an example, if I were to put this on and it's try to square this up as best you can at the bottom of the handle, right now you guys can see, and I'll turn so you can see it there too, but right now I have an actual loft and lie measurement on this. So right now it's giving me what the actual loft and lie of this is. Right now that's telling me I'm squared up.
Oh yeah.
Right
so
there.
you're trying to center the
Yeah.
green dots there. That'll show you what
Right.
the ideal position,
Right.
so to
But
speak,
if you
is.
go on to the stroke things,
Yep. So
So-
that's a really interesting one to just kind of gauge that from that perspective. The guided fit asks you some general questions about setup. How tall are you? What's your wrist to floor? Those are also that are important things as we start talking about, do you crouch down and you stand tall? Those are all things about length. But the main point to this is if I were to take 5 putts, that the gyroscopes inside of the Ping app here, the gyroscopes on the inside as I take 5 putts, and we'll do that. This is a little bit longer, but that's okay. We need a little bit longer.
Yeah, we got 5 balls here too, so
yeah.
here we go. So right now, the app is just kind of getting a feel for your putting stroke.
Yeah, so when it measures the motion that moves away, that's when it kind of starts
Okay.
the sensory information load.
Right, and
on the
it's
inside.
it's basically it's giving you a number about, hey, what's your tempo like? What's your hand rotation like?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you deliver that putter? I mean, it's such a simple tool that you can stand here and hit 5 putts, and now what it does is it maybe eliminates half of these putters
Or
that
more.
are
Oh, yeah.
that,
Or
or
more.
more
Yeah.
Yeah.
that are in this store that are going to help you.
Yeah.
So now it's okay. Now we can go somewhere else. I can't tell you the people that have come in and that have done the Ping app and then want to take it to the next level with Quintic.
Yes.
They're heads and tails above everybody
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Rather than somebody who's never done anything
Yeah.
with the Ping app.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, I know we can't get a perfect view of what's
Right.
on here, but we can try to explain. But
So there's a couple
Yeah.
things that this is measuring, and I've talked about this before. First of all, this is talking about the rotation. So the amount of rotation that's actually occurring is one of the main factors for Ping in determining what they call the arc type.
Yep.
It's not necessarily the swing path type.
Yeah.
It's the amount of rotation that happens with the face angle.
Correct.
And so with that, this is measuring this as about a 6-degree closing angle,
Yep.
which means for that it's kind of a slight, meaning I have a little bit of an opening and closing, not a lot.
Yep.
There also is talking about the impact angle, which means that's the face open versus closed.
Well, in here to talk quickly about the club. So now we decipher that if his hand rotation isn't that much, he's got a putter that has a lot of face rotate, has a lot of toe hang.
Yeah.
He can use that putter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
He might not do well with other styles of putt,
this one,
with that
face
style
balance.
of putter,
Correct.
with a face balance, because he doesn't have as much. So again, it's just another part of the. It's like going to the doctor. It's like, okay. I mean, I'm going through cataract surgery. Do the other eye tomorrow. But it's all the diagnostic stuff.
Yeah.
They look in your eye, they do this, they do another thing. All of a sudden, I walk out 2 weeks ago with a 2025 implant in my eye. Pretty cool. We can do the same thing for you in a putter.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
You can walk out with 20/20 vision in your putting. Now you just got to go out and practice it.
Now they talk about tempo, and tempo is obviously something that is personal, right? Whether or not it's kind of like a little bit faster, a little bit slower, it's how you move that putter head. 2.0 is where you want to be. That happens to be what I'm at with this. But the idea is also that it's the ratio from when I take it back to when I get back to the ball. Mm-hmm. So there are different ratios, and we have to be careful as we start talking about how fast do I get back? Do I take it back fast and then slow? Do I take it back fast all the way? Yeah. So those are important speed factors.
Number one problem with bad putters is over acceleration.
Yeah,
they believe that the putter should go back short and they hit it hard. And the problem is, if I do this from 3 feet and I do this from that feet, the Quintic numbers are all over because you can't return it the same way.
Yeah.
People don't realize that when a PGA Tour player, their putter hits that golf ball, it actually the putter head slows down.
A little bit.
It
Just a
does
little
not.
bit.
It does not speed up.
So
They think it's they're once again their buddies in the group. Oh, you're decelerating. Then the next one goes 12 feet past the hole, and
Right.
the guy looks at it and goes, "Well, that was great."
Wasn't a decel.
Yeah, it wasn't a decel.
The other one is lie angle. So to kind of recap, there's 3 things that are really that are motion captured with this. There's a rotation, there's a loft, and there's a lie angle. And the lie angle is fairly consistent, a little bit upright for me on that. The one that has kind of you better go look at your putting stroke is the shaft lean. And that is from, there's 2 different pieces to this. There's the setup and then there's the impact. And for me on the scattered chart, I have all 5 of those putts scattered about with my hands back. Well, that's where we start looking at an app like that and saying, all right, my hands are back. They're starting back behind that ball, and they're staying back behind that ball. Now we start looking at it from a loft perspective.
Right.
We can also talk about the technology with loft versus the technique.
Well, and then you start talking about different
types of
offset,
putters.
different type of putters,
Yeah,
different
offset,
offsets.
loft,
I mean,
length even.
it opens the door to the conversation on how we're going to make you better.
Yeah.
Okay, we have diagnosed a problem. Okay, Ping app diagnoses a problem. PuttView diagnoses a problem. Quintic diagnoses a problem.
Yep.
Now I've got 3 ways. I've got 3 tools to make you better. Mm-hmm. Most people walk in here a lot of times and they think their putting's dead. They're never going to putt good again. And it's amazing, I've forwarded you some of the text messages I get. It's like, oh my God, this is like the best. This is like life changing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe it is to them.
But they weren't doing anything.
But
they're not doing anything different.
They're not doing anything different.
Now
They have confidence now, and now they have the right tool in their hand. Mm-hmm. It's like a carpenter trying to build a house without a hammer.
Right.
Doesn't work very
I'll
well.
take you through kind of some of the stats for me, at least for this year, because this is a conversation we started last fall. We sat down and talked about where the classics went. So one of the things I did was I bought an old classic heel blade style putter that we've mentioned several times, all toe hang. And the thing that was always kind of prevalent in my putting game was that there was always kind of a pull. And it's just like I wanted to release, but whether or not that's my hands back, whether it's pulling, whether it's me looking, I wanted to try to take away the left side in my putt. So I got something with a lot of toe hang. And from playing this year, my average putts went down from about 33 per round, and now I'm at about 30. Well, there's 3 strokes.
3 shots.
Yeah.
That's
Huge.
pretty good.
My up and downs,
It goes from 75 to 72.
Yeah, my up and downs have gotten better because now I am making more putts as
converting
well.
more of those
that
short
could be,
par putts or-
right.
yeah.
It could be another. It could be, or it could even just be another long par putt, or a putt that I might save a stroke here or there that I might not normally have been making as
Yeah.
well.
I'm going to see if we have anything else to cover here and see if there's any other
Any
follow-up
other
remarks. But
questions?
in terms of all the technology here that we've talked about, you truly get everything that you, in terms of the information about your putting stroke that you could need. I mean, I like the Ping Putter app really nice because we talked about all the information that it gets, but it's really quick. You just hit 5 putts,
Right.
Yeah.
and then one of our experts can dial you in on like a mini fitting.
Right.
You know, and during busy season when we are slammed in here and every bay is being used and there's
Yeah.
putting greens crowded, grab somebody quick, get information that way.
Right.
Otherwise, Quintic,
Yeah.
you can get dialed in
Yeah.
on a kind of that private level where you get all that information. You can try different putters, and then
Well,
of course
and-
PuttView's out here for everybody to look at as well.
And then it goes back to the 30-day play guarantee.
Yeah.
You know, if I take you, like Tyler says, if I take you like from an 8802 style, and I put you in a mallet style because that's what you hit the best, and you kind of walk out of the door and go, okay, the numbers are good, but does this work? Okay, you got 30 days to see if it works in the real world.
Yeah.
You know, all my fittings also they get my cell phone number that hey. Send me a text in a couple weeks. Let me know how it's going. I want to know how it's going because if it's not going well, let's come back in and let's talk about it. So maybe then we find a putter that's maybe somewhere in between. Maybe we find something,
or maybe it's just a quick loft adjustment that's needed.
Absolutely,
or something
absolutely.
Like that.
But if you're truly making a big change, boy, that is where the 30-day play guarantee. I probably use the 30-day play guarantee the most on putters and drivers.
Yeah, like you said.
The
most mentally handicapped
clubs.
We obviously our first goal is to try to make sure that we find a product that gets you out, you play, you have success with, and it happens though. Don't think that this is like, oh yeah, you have the 30 days, that no one ever comes back. They come back.
Oh yeah.
Sure they do.
And you know what? I think it's even that second piece where if they do need to, and you do need to tweak that, we need to look at that, I think we're going to be even better.
Oh yeah.
Because now we
get more time.
We have more information.
Yeah.
We have you out there putting with it. We have, hey, this really pushes, this really pulls. I didn't see that before.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is great though. We got a good look at all the different technology that we use in the stores. We're not long ago it was just some carpet, some putters. You come in and try them out, and now we've got all this information available to us.
Well,
it's exciting.
Yeah.
And so now we invite golfers obviously to come in, try things out for yourself, and you don't even need to book a fitting. Although that's number one, I think we would suggest come get a Quintic fitting. But you have PuttView, you have the Ping Putter app available. So schedule that fitting and get yourself. Lowering your number of putts like Tyler did, and you're going to shoot better scores.
Putter fittings come out of the dark ages. The mystery of putter fitting.
Yeah.
Where, the club pro would stand there and watch you hit a couple putts and do this, do that, try this putter, do that. All right, go out and use that. Okay. I was that guy 45 years ago. That was me standing there trying to help people out. Let me tell you something. It's a hell of a lot easier now.
It is, absolutely. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel for more updates on when we go live. Tyler and Larry, thanks for your time today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, keep your grooves clean and stay razor sharp.
At Second Swing, we know it's not you, it's your clubs. That's why we offer over 100,000 new and used golf clubs and a team of experts who help you find the perfect option for both your swing and your budget. Customize your bag with a tour-level fitting, then trade in your current clubs to save even more on your upgrades. Change your game in store or online at secondswing.com.